Hey everybody, it's Michael from Replica Airguns, and I've got my Gamo PR-776 CO2 .177 caliber pellet pistol here on the table. We are doing the tabletop review, so we're going to get into specifications. I'm going to show you this pistol up nice and close. If you're interested in shooting, accuracy, feet per second, then check out my field test shooting video. I've already made that video for you guys, so check for a link somewhere. I'll put a link in here somewhere in the description in the video. Wherever I feel I can put it, I'll put it in there for you guys. Now this product is available in both our Canada and US online Replica Airgun stores over at replicaairguns.ca for Canada and replicaairguns.us for the US, and of course we have other products there as well. The Gamo PR-776 comes in a clamshell package, right? 8-shot .177 caliber pellet pistol. You got the 2 magazines that I've taken out. I've obviously taken the gun out as well, would normally go in here. Got some other information here. Quick loading pellet magazines to included, 6-inch rifled steel barrel, easy loading, maybe even 2 easy loading, 12 gram CO2. I'll talk about that in a bit. On the back, you have more specifications. Let's get in here. There you go. Again, caliber, FPS, 400 FPS using PBA Platinum pellets. I did use, actually for the testing, I used lead pellets. We'll get more into that. Comes with the 2 magazines. Now they say full metal, but of course there's going to be plastic grips, things like that. It does use 12 grams, standard 12 gram CO2 cartridges, and of course that 6-inch rifled barrel. And it does say rear windage adjustable sight and white reflective dot front sight. It is actually adjustable for windage and elevation, and I'll show you that later. Gun weighs about 2.2 pounds, that's what it says. Some places will say a little bit heavier, but that's close enough. Close to about 1 kilogram. Okay, more information, more little pictures and diagrams and things. Let's get on with more of the information here. Like the specifications, how about that? Again, this is a CO2 pellet revolver. It shoots .177 caliber pellets. It comes with 2 8-shot pellet magazines, kind of like sun clips in a way. They just kind of fit in the actual cylinder. Gamo claims 400 FPS using PBA Platinum pellets, but I was able to get 400 plus FPS using standard lead pellets, so those pellets were close to 7 grain as opposed to the 5 grain or close to 5 grain PBA Platinums. You're going to find a rifled steel barrel with this gun. And again, it comes in at about 2.2 pounds or 1 kilogram. The total length of this revolver is 11.5 inches. And again, it has that 6-inch length barrel that's all metal and rifled. And this gun is made in Taiwan. So I'm going to compare the Gamo PR-776 to some other products I happen to have around. Not exactly the same, but revolvers in a couple different styles. We have the Crosman 357. It's pretty much the Vigilante. The Vigilante has the, or Vigilante, whatever, Vigilante has a different front end barrel, but essentially this 357 goes way back, almost 30 years. This frame hasn't changed at all. The grips have changed, the barrels have changed. The main frame hasn't really changed, mechanical mechanism hasn't changed. This just happens to be a break barrel design, and you have these removable magazines that are 10 round, okay, instead of 8 round. They're generally going to be plastic. The front ends are going to be sometimes plastic outers with metal inners. Sometimes you'll have metal outers and metal inners, of course. The frame is going to be metal. The pistol grips are going to change on these guns. But this is essentially a 12 or a 10-shot pellet revolver with a rifled steel barrel. So in the sense it's pellets and rifled barrel and uses CO2, it's kind of the same and has these magazines that are pretty easy to load quickly. All right, compare that to the Dan Wesson 715. Quite a different beast. I'll just turn it around this way. And this is a shell loading revolver. So you can see you have shells. You're going to only have 6 of them. Traditionally, that's what a 6-shooter will have. Most revolvers are going to have, or at least the larger sizes will have 6 rounds in them, right? Some will have 5 even for larger calibers. Some will have even more. Some will have 7 rounds. Just depends on the size of the cylinder and the caliber of the ammunition you're using. But typically 6 rounds is what you're going to find. This is pretty much an all-metal gun. Different sort of system for loading the CO2, right? So you put it in there. And I'll be showing you on the Gamo. I didn't show you on the Crosman, but it's kind of the same too. This one's gonna pop off like that. The Gamo is quite a bit different, but both the Dan Wesson and the Crosman have these, just basically the halves come off, and you got your CO2 screw right there, or Allen key right there. And nice guns, you know, this is a pretty nice gun, nice heavyweight, all metal. I really like the finish. It's a little bit more realistic in terms of realism with the shells and everything. I think it has a little beefier weight and everything, but let's get on to the Gamo PR-776 now and talk about that pistol for a while. All right, let's take a quick look at it. Get in here nice and tight. Show you around. Okay, so there's your cylinder, right? It does obviously come out, and you've got these magazines, right, that hold the pellets, 8 rounds each. Pretty easy to load it up. You just pop them in, close it, and then you have a safe there, fire, and then that's how you push it forward to open up the magazine or the cylinder. Okay, there we are. So you have double and single action. It is loaded with CO2, but there are no pellets in it, obviously. So you can shoot in single action or pull the trigger back and you've double action. Let's take a look here. Okay. PR-776, all metal. By the way, pretty sure you can put a dovetail system on here. It's a little smaller, but it should work. If your white dot sight, you have your recessed barrel. Okay, goes in quite a bit. You have the Gamo insignia there. Now this is kind of a pet peeve I have. This is just like, it's really loose. Like it doesn't, it's really like kind of weird, right? So if you're putting it in a holster and you're running around, this might flop around. Now when you're holding it, it's not a big deal. But if you did put it in a holster and this is hanging out, I don't know what's gonna happen. You could, snag it on something, potentially break it off. Just a standard tab, so you don't need an Allen key or anything like that. Again, there's your hammer. You do have adjustable sight for windage and elevation. You can see you got your up and your side to side. Okay, so you have a screw there for up and down, and then a screw on the side here for left and right for windage. All right. You do have some warning instructions. Again, you got your PR-776, F for the German European market, caliber, and again that recessed barrel. Looks pretty good though. I mean, it's a nice looking gun. Feels good in the hand for sure. All right, let's get into some of the pros and the cons for a CO2 pellet revolver. Achieving 400 plus FPS with standard lead pellets is pretty good. So you're gonna get quite a bit of power, especially out of a brand new CO2. Of course, as you shoot the gun, and if you're shooting it fairly quick, the FPS will drop, but you're gonna get close to 400 just over initially. It's pretty good. Again, you're gonna find with these magazines, you can load it up pretty quick as opposed to the shell loading where if you don't have a speed loader, for instance, it's gonna be a little bit more tricky, but these are just really fast and there's 8 rounds in each of them, so you get a few more shots per load. So it's kind of nice if you want a little bit more shots per reload. I like that it does come with 2 of these 8-round magazines. Oftentimes the shell loading guns will just come with 6 rounds and you're gonna have to reload them each time. The Gamo PR-776 has your traditional single and double action triggers, so you can action shoot with the double action, just quickly pulling that trigger back as fast as you can. You'll get lots of shots off really quickly, or you can pull the hammer back and shoot it in single action mode, which is going to give you a shorter, lighter trigger for more accurate shots if you want to just really take your time with the shot and see how accurate you can place that pellet. I like the white dot front sight. Nice and easy to see, and then you have that fully adjustable rear sight, which you don't see on a lot of CO2 pistols these days. More often on revolvers, of course, but definitely not as much on the CO2 blowback pistols. As I mentioned before, it's got good weight and feel to it at just over 2 pounds or 1 kilogram. Feels pretty good in the hand. Overall, I'd say the fit and finish looks pretty good. Nothing really wiggling around too much. The hammer seems pretty snug. Everything seems pretty nice and tight when you've got it all set up ready to go. Other than, I guess, this pistol grip, which is kind of a pet peeve that a lot of the Gamo pistols or wind guns, certain ones will have. I like that recessed barrel. It just adds a little bit more additional realism, giving it a larger caliber look to the barrel as opposed to the smaller .177 caliber opening. And again, I'm not 100% sure, but I've done a little bit of research and I'm pretty confident to say that this rail on the top here, it is grooved, will accept the dovetail mount. So you could go dovetail to Picatinny if you want, there are adapters, or you could just go dovetail and have sort of some scope rings and put on like some sort of optical scope there, some sort of magnified scope, or a red dot if you use a Picatinny. There's even red dot scopes that use dovetail as well, so you might want to check those options out. All right, some of the cons, not too many. I'm not a big fan of these loose pistol grips. Again, it's just kind of, they wiggle around. If you are holstering it, there's that possibility that it's just gonna like flop off. You could even break it if it snags on something. So there's that, but most of the time when you're shooting it, you're obviously holding the pistol grip, so you're not gonna have an issue at all when you're actually shooting it. And I was hoping to get a little bit tighter groupings when I shot this gun during my field test shooting video. I got about a 2-inch grouping, but the gun did kind of want to shoot most of them within about an inch. But typically speaking, I've been able to get anywhere from even down to a 1/2 inch, but at least within 1-inch groupings of either 6 or whatever round shooting I was doing. In this case, I was shooting 8 rounds at a time, but I did shoot 2 magazines just to see if I got kind of different results. And they all kind of grouped within basically 4 inches, okay? Now I'm thinking a part of that may have been pellet choice. I didn't try a different set of pellets the second time around. That may have helped out. Pellet choice can make a huge difference in accuracy, just saying. I think if I was gonna own this gun and shoot it often, I would try different pellets with it to find which ones it liked the most and which ones were the most accurate. Again, I want to remind you that Gamo PR-776 CO2 .177 caliber pellet revolver is available in both our Canada and US online stores over at replicairguns.ca and replicairguns.us. Again, I'll put links in the description of this video to buy this gun online. I'll also put a link over to the written article where I have additional photos and maybe some other information that I might have left out of the video. So check that link over at replicairguns.com. All right, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Username is Replica Airguns. Until next time, take care.